Hey everyone, for those who know me or who have followed me in the past or may not even remember me, it's been a few years since I've posted a YouTube video, but I usually just posted religious content. Since then, I think I just needed a break. I'm the type of person that has opinions on things, and I feel like I've kept them in for a long time now. But this specific topic has me coming out the woodworks right now because I think it's pretty concerning. There's a man named Andrew Tate. He is followed by men, but many young boys and teenagers alike. I knew a person who followed him. I no longer associate with him, not because of him following this man, but because he was a very weird person. Many years before that, I knew him. He was a much older man. He was my friend. I'm not even gonna get into it, but let's just say he's my friend's relative. And I knew him since I was very young, and he ended up being a creep. And I think these are the type of men that are following this man, Andrew Tate, and identify with his ideologies, borderline, not even borderline, dangerous ideologies about women. Just name a few before I react to some videos, but just from the few that I've watched, he's called women property. We're gonna see that specific video. He said he moved to Romania so he wouldn't have to deal with sexual assault allegations. He would talk about how God ordained men to have multiple women and that is their biological imperative, and how that is basically a man's right in a way to hold multiple women, and that each of these women are meant for him and him only. In that same vein, he says that women should be pure, should have low body counts, or have sex with little to no men. Yet he is pushing this ideology of men seducing and dogging on women, and just creating the world that he says he hates. He's creating the women that he says he dislikes. So it's so much hypocrisy, and it's really concerning how we live in the 21st century. We live in a modern world, we want to think that, right? For the most part, we have gotten over, the biggest hurdles that, minorities and women have gone through. Just as late as the 1990s was marital rape outlawed. So in a way, we really are in the most primitive stages of modernism. We're really not that far in the grand scope view of things. I don't know if that made sense. In the grand scope of things, we really are not that progressive and fair and equal, in my view, because men like this still exist in the modern world. Like ideologies that in third world countries is upheld, talking about how women are property. So let's take a look here. Yikes. Okay, this is just some random one. I just literally put in Andrew Tate women in the search bar. So this is the first one that came up. I was told.
Female promiscuity has always, across every culture that's ever existed, been frowned upon. If you were a hoe, you were laughed at. That is not a coincidence. It's because females are designed to meet a man, get pregnant, fall in love with said man. If you keep sleeping with X dude, popping Plan Bs, taking that the morning after pill, that cheapens you. It doesn't matter if a man slept with 20 girls or 200 girls. He is still the man. If a woman slept with 200 men, she is worth less. This is the basis of the game. No man is gonna marry a woman that 200 men slammed and threw to the street.
There's so many things wrong. Again, you hate promiscuous women, yet you're creating promiscuous women. Literally, if every man espoused this same belief system that he has, there would be no pure women in this world. Like, if this is really how God designed men to be, and then how he designed women to be pure, then he's an idiot. Like, men are hypocrites then, if this is really how God designed them. It's like, there's no logic. This is a man who talks about logic. Men are logical. This is the logical species. Peak intelligence over here. Literally, if every single man thought of himself as a ladies' man and thought of himself as, going around sleeping with women, and that's okay, there wouldn't be a single pure woman on the face of the planet. Like, these people are so dumb. Like, and it makes sense why young boys whose brain haven't even been a quarter of a way developed, would follow this man, because it makes sense. Like, there's no logic here. There's no actual thought put into this. Only a child would actually take this in, process it, and think that it makes any type of sense. A person that's brain is not fully developed. And to the men whose brains are fully developed, I don't know, didn't do a good job at developing fully. I mean, there's some people who's just never grow up, I guess. And it's sad how this generation of male culture, you have to, like, little boys have to grow up out of a misogynist way of thinking. It's like, this is what they're expected to be like, and then they're expected to then just magically turn into an adult who thinks rationally. No, but because it starts when they're young. Like, this is, like, dangerous. I mean, this was not even, like, these aren't even things that were acceptable to say in, like, the 50s, the time where men were supposedly so masculine and stuff. Like, this would not be an acceptable way to speak in public. And, let's look at another one.
I think, like, you say a lot of stuff about women, like, that they're your property.
That's not what I said. I was talking about an OnlyFans company when that question was asked. But I said that if a woman is going out with a man, she belongs to that man. That's his woman. So if she wants to do OnlyFans, she owes him some money because she's his. Yes, that's what I said.
Well, that's crazy. You think if a man, so you think that a man going out with a girl, that's just your property? There can't be an equal relationship?
No. That one was nuts. That one was nuts.
I'm not saying it goes crazy.
That one you can't. If I understood what you said,
I love this
that
guy.
If a guy and a girl is dating and a girl does OnlyFans, she owes him a cut.
No, 100%.
Girl.
Well, he's there smoking the
100%.
cigarette.
She is his girl.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because she's his.
Yeah, so that's
so that is you saying that women are your property.
It's not about being property. It's about the fact that she belongs to him, and the intimate parts of her body belong to him because they're in a relationship. And if she wants to sell those, he has a stake in those intimate parts of her body.
So it's reverse. Male porn star owes the woman.
No.
I don't know, because I think the women belong to the man. I think the woman's
that's inherently where you get called sexist.
No,
right. He said it all. You know, this guy touts himself as a realist. Sexism is real. Like a real just view on the world. Misogyny doesn't exist. This is just a realist take on things. Women are property. That's a fact. You know, he's allowed to jet set around the world, have 20, 30, 40, 50 women, and exploit them in different ways. And that's just how God created the world. That's a fact. I love how he's using the word facts and realist, and then in the same vein using religion and God to say that this is the way things are. Like, your view, your belief system, your distorted belief system, you know, that you take from religion, your interpretation of religion is not facts. Like, we want to talk about logic so much here, but yet, where is it at? Where is it at? It's nowhere to be found. Let's look at the second.
what happens if you go to Russia and you find a hot, beautiful woman with a big mafia boss? Do you think that dude is loyal to her? No, of course not. No. So do you know what he says? I take care of her. She drives a Bentley. She has my children. I know she's looked after. She doesn't hassle me if I go play games with stupid hoes because I come back to her. And she's like, okay, cool. Well, he takes care of me. It's done. That's how it's done in 99% of the world besides the USA.
99
with options who's going to genuinely, never ever consider those options ever.
I mean, he said, "Oh, I don't even care. I don't even care to listen to any more of this." 99% of every other place in this world operates like that. You know why? Because it's a fucking backwards country, more than likely. Not only in 99%, he was overinflating it. It's probably more, it's more like 90% of the world still subjugates women on a mass scale. So the world on a mass scale still pretty much subjugates women. You want to use that argument to try and justify why treating women this way is right? Okay, let's talk about how 90% of the world is still enslaving people in some form or another. Like, literally, you go to different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, they're still subjugating not only women, but just people in general for labor, for, it's just, the conditions are horrible. Is any of this stuff based in, reality? Is this, because things happen in most places of the world, that means that it is right and it makes sense? Are we forgetting that this country literally did the same thing as 90% of the world? And Western countries are some of the only countries that are really, that treat people, not just women, but just people in general of all races, as pretty decent compared to the rest of the world. So are we going to say because other people, other races aren't treated in other countries, aren't treated well in other countries, that we should follow what they're doing? We should revert back to that time period where we did the same thing as 90% of the world? Oh man, we're not living in reality here. If this is Andrew Tate reality over here. Non-existent. Along with the boys that, with their 25% developed brain Like, man, if you think that this is a W, like, you don't care about people. You don't care. Women are people, so you don't care about women. You don't care about the atrocities that go on in the world. He's talking about how men should have, in different videos, talking about men should be able to have multiple women, multiple wives, and that the woman should be just loyal to him, though. And that, again, 90% of the world. Let's narrow it down a little. Let's talk about Afghanistan. So, are we gonna say that? Come on, I mean, the literal statistic there is that 90% of men beat their wives. This is the ideology that he's talking about. 90% of the world, ascribe to. Literally Afghanistan, where men can have multiple wives, men can basically treat women any type of way. And that's the masculine thing to do. That supposedly we have to revert back to. I mean, what has happened to this country? Seriously. Like, we're talking about how men need masculine figure in their lives. Yeah, they need their fathers. They don't need this guy. They don't need this guy. You think that if men, like, most fathers talk to their sons this way? Like, this is not a belief system, like, maybe some variation, like, there still is misogyny in the world, so maybe, men are telling their sons, yeah, go, F some bees. Get those girls. I've seen it. But it's not like this crazy. And that's not even what masculinity is about. Why does your manhood revolve around collecting women like Pokemon? Like, why is that? Your value basically is in women. Like, what type of masculinity is that? That's like the most fragile and useless masculinity ever. If you can't just find worth and value and confidence in yourself, minus all these women that you try to collect to try and convince yourself that you're somehow good, you're somehow better than other men. Like, it's really sad. It's not your hard work, it's not responsibility, it's not commitment, it's not any actual good trait. It's just collecting women, treating them like shit. Not to mention that this guy is a literal sex trafficker. He's a sex trafficker. And people want to say he wasn't convicted. Like, I should have started my video with that. He's a literal sex trafficker. And no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit. This is just a male role model. Like, this is actually scary. Second of all, if you don't want to believe that he was, he wasn't convicted, he was in Romania, and he even was on the record saying that he went to Romania so he wouldn't have to worry about any sexual assault allegations. So that should prove to you why he was not even convicted of the sex trafficking case. He knew he wasn't gonna fucking be convicted in the first place. Like, can anyone use their brain when, like, looking at this guy? I mean, I'm trying to be calm and collected here, but, like, I'm a woman, right? Like, no, it's not just the fact that this is crazy. I mean, it's the fact that I'm a woman, because, women can't think. Like, we can't come to any rational conclusion because, men, they're the best. They're great, This is great. This is great stuff. This is wholesome, genuinely intelligent, good stuff. And, I've heard some other things that, have nothing to do with women, talking about motivation and success, and a lot of people say that's why they follow him, that he has a lot of good, inspiring stuff, and that's what's, good for men, along with the misogyny and stuff that he touts, but sure, the guy can have some, I guess, hold some positive traits in terms of his habits. You know, psychopaths like have literally been successful in life. You know, the average US president is like significantly more narcissistic than the civilian population. Is this supposed to be like, does that make him infallible to being a piece of crap? Like, because he holds some good beliefs, that completely negates, you know, the fact that he's a sex trafficker. He's a psychopath. It makes me wonder and question, how many more psychopaths really are running around society today? And we just have no idea. We underestimate how much crazy there is. And I'm telling you right now, in this case, it's not coming from women. You know, as much as people want to, you know, say that women are crazy, this guy has millions of followers. This guy is gaining a pretty big following, even bigger following than he has now. And this is all seemingly logical to the logical gender, right? The males. Bro, you make no sense. And if you think that this ideology is going to get you women and that you're going to be on this same level as this guy, you're going to be, I don't want to say, but you're going to be a virgin for life. Like, if you don't know how to talk to, like, if this is how you speak about women, you think women are going to, like, revert back and be like, yeah, okay, like, I'll be cheated on and beat on, because he also beat women. Beat on again, you know, like, in what world? Women have guns too, okay? You want to go back to some Handmaid's Tale shit? Like, it's not happening. It's not happening. Like, it's just, this is psychological abuse. This is psychological abuse to women, and honestly, to young boys. The fact that this is being able to circulate, imagine if a white supremacist, neo-Nazi had this type of following. It wouldn't be allowed. There are ways in which racism is not taken as seriously, but that shit would not be allowed. That shit would not be allowed. I'm telling you that right now. Like, a white supremacist, neo-Nazi would not be able to amass millions of followers, have videos plastered everywhere. TikTok has his hashtag has 10 billion videos. Either 10 billion videos or views. I forgot what it is. But still, it's like, this would not, in any social media platform, be able to circulate as much as it is if it were a white supremacist Nazi talking about how certain races are, they should be submitted, they should be subjugated, this is how the world should work because religion, most religious books says slavery is okay. So does that make it okay? Because he likes to refers to kings in the Bible and other places as being okay to have countless women, because men in the Bible were allowed to do it. So let's talk about slavery. If it were a white supremacist, he would not be allowed to be saying this stuff. That's how you know misogyny in certain ways is not taken as seriously, because this is still a worldwide problem. He's talking about 90%. That's why. I'm not even trying to compare, but this gender identity is taken, like transphobia and certain phobias are taken more seriously than sexism, because you don't see things like this to this degree, okay? And correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm open to having the conversation. I'm open to, you know, there's such a complex subject, you know, comparing, you know, how certain groups have to withstand, you know, certain types of discrimination more than others, you know. Like I said, certain, like, people of color still have to face racism in very serious ways and face it more, like, say, in the healthcare, you know, besides, you know, just law enforcement, but like in the healthcare industry, like you see the studies, how people of color are really treated. It's pretty horrendous. How Black women end up dying at a significantly like higher rate when under the care of a white doctor. And it's alarming. But say like with just overall sexism, like we don't see like white supremacists making music and it just like blowing up, but like misogyny and like a lot of music is still accepted, talking about, you know, just different variations of putting women down. And I've stopped listening to like certain genres and actually listening to like women more in those genres, like say hip-hop, like just women like artists, and instead of listening to male artists, because the things they say is just so alarming and disgusting, and I just can't even hear it. But yeah, I think we need to elevate female voices and drown out these toxic male voices. If you're a woman watching this right now, thank you for watching. If you're a man watching this right now and you agree, thank you for watching. But to the women, I just want to say, if you're watching this and you resonate with this, you know, please use your voice, because I'm not the type of person to use my voice, okay? I mean, I am, but not like on social media, not like on the internet, not on YouTube, at least not anymore, or not at least for the past few years. But when things like this start to happen and the culture is like being affected to such a large degree, and you see young kids, you know, falling prey to these ideologies, people have to speak up. You know, I understand people are busy, you have things to do, you have other things to worry about, but we want to live in a healthy, good, you know, prosperous society, and like beliefs systems like this only further, you know, cause further division than there already is. Like, this is a response to feminism, what this is. People are so mad that women are gaining equality in certain areas, and say men don't like the way that women are today, aka the same exact way modern men and men in the past have been. And they don't like that. They don't like that women have the same freedoms as men, and that they are infallible human beings too. That, you know, you might not like how the modern woman acts, but it's no different from how the modern man acts. And to ask any different, to expect a much higher standard from women and then have men down here, it's the reason we are in this position today. It's the reason why women have fought for equality. You know, you can't have this. It was an imbalance is what it is. You have to have both here. You have to be consistent with your logic. This man is not consistent with his logic. He's disgusting. He's thinks that he is owed things by women. So they have to be up here on their best behavior, and he can be all the way down here, and like he said, still think he's the man. That's how low the bar is for these type of men. And women are up here and we're looking down like, bitch, like we are not going, like, we're not going to that. Like, we are like so, I don't even know how to say it. It's so much imbalance. It's like, don't we want to create a little balance? It's like, women should be like you guys should come up here, you know, come up here a little bit, you know, and we can chill, you know, like, it has to be equal. Like, bruh, I don't even know why I have to explain this. Wait, should we see more? Oh yeah, another video he said like women are like children. It just goes on and on and on. Just the nonsense, the utter nonsense. But hey, that's what the world is. today. Just utter nonsense, chaos. But if you want me to talk a little bit more about this, I'd be happy to. I'm trying not to put so much thought into this video because that's why I haven't posted in the last few years. So that's why I'm like, I hardly ever post because I'm like perfectionist. So I have to like edit everything and make everything look good. Fuck it. I'm leaving this like this, and I'm adding in the video for the reactions. But yeah, apart from that, if you want to hear me talk about anything else, let me know. And for those who have followed me and hear me saying like some curse words, you know, people evolve and think differently about things, and you know, they don't think that, you know, curse words are like the worst thing in the world. So, you know, to a degree, you know, minimum, keep it minimum. And I'm just trying to keep a conversation going, and sometimes that slips in there. So hopefully I got my point across, and I hope you enjoyed it. But yeah, let me know if you want me to comment on any of this ever again. Thank you so much for watching.